Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. Today I'm tying a traditional spider pattern called the dark Watchet. If you've got Brook and River Trouting by Edmonds and Lees, it's pattern 13A. The hook is a size 12 partridge spider hook, and I'm using two different silks. This is orange and purple. Traditionally it's Pearsall silk, but that's been discontinued for about a decade now and it's very hard to get hold of, so this is a substitute. I'm using some Jackdaw Feathers for the hackle, and to dub the body, as the book specifies, a light haze of mole fur. This is a lovely soft grey dubbing. So let's get started. This is well waxed silk, so you only need a few turns to hold and secure down at the head. And here I've prepared a jackdaw feather by stripping off most of the barbs, and I'm tying it in from the tip. I've used my hackle pliers to pull the fibres back to give a little handle at the tip to tie in. Can snip away the excess here and take the excess feather and the excess silk. And then here I've taken a length of the purple silk, and this is going to be our ribbing, which making a couple of turns, pulling it through and securing it down. I'm going to use this purple silk to guide my orange silk into nice touching turns. I'm holding it up at an angle and sliding the thread down it. And I'm going to take it back just behind the hook point. Some people say to the hook point, some people say to the barb, but I split the difference. Now I'm applying a generous amount of wax to the orange silk, and I've just taken a tiny little pinch of mole, and I'm going to dub that on. Ideally you want to be able to see the orange of the thread through this, and it gives a really nice sheen over the body, sort of a grey haze with the orange and the purple ribbing underneath. So I'm just lightly dubbing on, just a tiny little pinch, and I'm going to spread that out to give a nice even dub. It'll all be held down. Mole's got a surprisingly long staple for such short fur. Now I'm going to use the rotary on my vise. I just find that this is a bit easier than wrapping it hand over hand. And keeping those two threads parallel, I'm going to wrap them up the body. And as you can see, we've got that purple rib showing through and that orange underneath that haze of mole fur. It gives a really nice effect. I'm going to take that all the way up to where we tied the feather in. I'm going to secure down the purple thread and then trim that away. Once I've got everything secured down, we can move on to hackling the fly. One useful bit of advice I was given from an experienced tyer of spider flies is that swearing a lot helps. So here I've left myself a long stem which I'm using as a handle. If you've got a shorter stem, you'll want to use hackle pliers. And I'm just going to wrap this in touching turns, keeping the feather stem touching against the previous wrap, just working towards the head of the fly. I'm preening back the barbs with each turn, and because I tied the feather in with the natural curve pointing upwards, since I'm wrapping away from myself, that means that the barbs of the feather are going to point naturally towards the tail of the fly. I've made about 2.5 turns here, and some might say that that's too dense for a spider. Opinions are a bit split. Some people say 1 turn only, some people say 2 or 3 turns. Looking through the book, the originals are actually quite densely hackled, so that's what I do with mine. I'm going to make a whip finish and trim away the excess orange silk. We're finished with that. And then I'm going to take away any excess feather. A little bit of rearrangement to get those barbs separated, and you can see that that's made a nice fan-shaped hackle pointing towards the tail of the fly, and this has a lovely pulsing action in the water. And that's the finished fly. Do give this one a go. It can be an absolute killer pattern, especially early in the season, and it's not all that hard once you get the hang of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.